she had a signature white tuxedo with coattails. I put the picture of it here with the big top hat. And I'm gonna put it here, and under I'm gonna caption it, "Do it look like I date white women?" Cause I do. Cause she did. She let them white women.
It's everybody's favorite segment.
School. No.
Queer history.
Queer Black history.
Queer Black history. Where we take time to recognize a figure or some type of current event or some type. What is it this week for Queer Black history?
Okay, so I've been doing a lot of stuff about the Harlem Renaissance, and I was like, I'm gonna take a break from the Harlem Renaissance someday, not today. So today our Queer Black history lesson is on Gladys Bentley.
Finally!
Gladys Bentley. Yes. And I thought it was relevant because of all the things that are going on, but we'll go in. Gladys Bentley, she's a pianist, performer, queer Black icon of the Harlem Renaissance. She was born in Philadelphia, August 12th, 1907. And from
Leo.
And what a Leo. And so she, from an early age, she was like stealing her brother's clothes and stuff. She says she was stealing her brother's clothes, and she lived a life that seemed like in her childhood, like she was started to show interest in girls. Mm-hmm. And her parents took her to a doctor to get some kind of treatment, and the treatment didn't work, and she was kind of sick of it. So by some people say it's 1923 or 1925, but around the age of 16, she came to New York at the height of the Harlem Renaissance, and particularly the pansy craze and the pansy craze. So she started, she came in her boy clothes or whatever, and her beautiful tuxes, and she was playing in like buffet flats and rent parties and stuff. That's how she really got her start, doing rent parties and buffet flats and like things like that. Until a friend told her that the Madhouse, which was a nightclub in Harlem, was looking for a pianist, but they wanted a boy. And she was like, I guess it's time for them to get a girl. So she showed up at to audition in a nice clean tux, looking so cute with her short hair, and played like bawdy, rowdy, ad-libbed versions of classics, right? And she was playing the piano, and the only reason why she got passed at this nightclub was because the audience went nuts for her. They went nuts because, especially if you hear any recordings, that voice is like so strong. So I get it. So she started at the Madhouse, and she started at $35 a week. But then when the white folks started to come, because I told you, we were talking about the buffet flats last time, how the white people loved coming to quote unquote Jungle Alley in Harlem. I know. Jungle Alley to go, see all the black spots. And so when the white people started coming to the Madhouse, she started making $100 a week. That's right. Yes, it was called Jungle Alley. Yes, it was.
Stuck on Jungle Alley.
Yes, it was. A man actually wrote a book called Nigger Heaven. Anyway, so white man. About that. Okay, so anyway, so then she started working at Harry Hansberry's Clam House. Now, in Harlem. Now, there's a map of Harlem. When I was looking at the buffet, there's a map of all the Harlem Jungle Alley, all the Harlem spots. And it's called, on that map, Gladys's Clam House. Because when she started at Harry's Clam House, she was the main attraction. She was the main attraction. And that's where she really perfected doing bawdy, rowdy versions of old standards, right? And so the Madhouse and Clam House was where she was going in Jungle Alley. This is like 133rd Street. And it was like her, Duke Ellington, Ethel Waters, Louis Armstrong. And that's when it really started to rise to prominence. But I wanted to go into
damn, how were the clams though?
Ain't nobody was there for them clams. I think it was a double entendre.
Oh.
Yes, I think it was a double entendre.
They were there for a different type of clam.
Yes, exactly. Hold on.
The wordplay that they had back then during the Harlem Renaissance. I mean, Jungle Alley is wild, but like the what's it called? The buffet flat, like
the buffet flats, all that stuff. Because this is what happens when you have to be subtle. you come up with some fun shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So wait, so I want to go over one of so she used to do something. There are no recordings of the body classics that she did because they are dirty. They are Lil' Kim dirty. So there was one that remains, the lyrics remain. Bentley transformed the standard Sweet Georgia Brown into Alice Blue Gown, and turned it into a song about butt stuff. And here's one of the lyrics. I don't really know Sweet Georgia Brown like that, but I'm just going to say it. So, and he said, "Dearie, please turn around." And he shoved that big thing up my brown. He tore it, I bored it. Lord, how I adored it. My sweet little Alice Blue Gown.
Let me just say, can I say something? I love hearing old records from like back then when, and they be so just filthy and nasty, like, "He tore my coochie out of the frame." Nah.
If you look,
it's like, but the old ass voices and "He tore my coochie out of the frame." Nah.
Right, those old lyrics, like this is what I'm saying. When she talk, she's Lil' Kim.
Mm-hmm.
She's Lil' Kim. She's Trina. She's Dyke Trina. Like she was, you know what I mean? And there were a lot of them out there, right?
Yeah.
There's the Lucille Bogan records or whatever, but there are no existing recordings of her like ad-libbed, dirty versions of classic standards. Which is so sad. That was the only one that we got is because of those lyrics were...
We could have had a Gladys Bentley WAP out there.
And this could have been really great to point out when everybody was all mad about WAP or whatever. Mm-hmm. This would have been great to point out because, bitch, okay, that Lucille Bogan was talking about her nipples being as long as her thumb. And, you know...
My nipples are... I still think that's so...
It's so funny. It's so funny.
Her coochie tastes like honeydew.
It's literally... That's really what these old, like, race records or whatever, these old ones.
Sorry.
Incredible. So... There's also one where she's like, "I got something between my legs that'll make a dead man come." And it's like, damn, Jesus Christ.
That's a necrophobia.
Okay, great grandmama. So she was a big hit at the Madhouse, and she was such a huge hit at the Clam House that they referred to it as Gladys's Clam House. I thought that was her club because when you look at, there's maps, there's like drawings of that, like show all the different hot clubs in Jungle Alley of Harlem or whatever. I know. And it's about to get worse. In Jungle Alley. And one of them, it's named Gladys's Clam House. And so I thought that's what it was called. I thought she owned the place. No, she didn't. She just performed there. She was so fucking hot that everybody loved her.
Like Beachella.
Like Beachella. Like, that's good. Yes. So, she got some money. The look really upgraded. She started wearing, she had a signature white tuxedo with coattails. I'll put the picture of it here with the big top hat. And I'm going to put it here, and under I'm going to caption it, "Do it look like I date white women?"
Because I do.
Because she did. She let them white women. She like did a big, possibly a publicity stunt, possibly didn't happen, where she married a white woman in the South. And that was like a big thing for her.
It reminds me of that scene from White Chicks when he's like, "Didn't you know this is an all-white party?" That's what it...
And that's it. I don't think she only dated white women because there might have been something between her and a few dancers or whatever, but the publicized relationships were with white women, unfortunately. So she in 1920, so she was like a big famous bulldagger, and people say she was a drag king, but she wasn't really a drag king. She would wear makeup. It was just like a mask woman, but she's kind of a progenitor of the drag king style.
But she wasn't like painting on like the mustache.
No, it wasn't that. And it was never like about that. So she used to work with drag queens, but we're going to get to that later. So in 1928, during the height of her fame, she started making recordings, right, for a thing called OK Records. But those were not the things that she got famous for. All these songs were like like songs like How Much Can I Stand? And like it's just all about like this man, he beaten me and he cheated on me, and these songs are like it's the opposite of what she was known for. And in the photographs for the records, like the album covers, she's in like full like geese. She's in full like women clothes, and she just looks like her standard. It's trying to give like Ethel Waters a little bit, and like they weren't really like hit or whatever, but like. You know, like people would talk about it, right? Like even Langston Hughes was like, "What happened?" She was
not Langston Hughes.
Like, yeah, he was like, she was the mask. You know what I mean? What happened? So anyway, she was so known for that in her appearance that she was the inspiration for a lot of novel characters, right? There's The Strange Brother in 1931, and Parties and Deep River, and it's all these. Every time there's like a black dyke in a suit in one of them things, it's probably Gladys Bentley. She was then featured at.
Gotta love New York.
She was then featured at. I was just gonna keep going. She was just then featured at a club called the Ubangi Club. And this, the reason why it was called that was it was supposed to inspire like the African, and it was mostly for white folk. White folk like going there, and so that's where she really had the spectacle. So that's when she would have like a big thing of like she would have a crowd of beautiful drag queens that would come out. She'd be in her beautiful tux. She would bang it out on the piano and perform with them, and do her ad-lib performances of like. Her ad-libbed versions of classic standards that were actually, she would be talking about like butt stuff. It's true. It's true. This is in the historical record. Anyway, so then after Prohibition ended, and like things started to get more conservative, right? This is the era of post-Prohibition, the era of the Hays Code being enforced and stuff. That's when the pansy craze or the lesbian craze started to fall out of favor. So she was still performing in clubs and stuff, but because Prohibition laws had been repealed, she would often get shut down. She was the one who was getting clubs shut down. I personally and some other historians believe that she was targeted specifically because she was black and masked and very, very popular. So she started getting, when her performances started getting shut down, she started booking less and less, and she was really losing money, and her career started to flounder, and the records that she was performing and her like dresses and stuff, they wasn't hitting. So she tried again in the 40s to do to other like go to lesbian clubs, but those lesbian clubs in San Francisco started getting shut down. Straight people were running most of the gay clubs that were in San Francisco, so they were fine with throwing the gay patrons under the thing. So Mona's 440, she was there, and Mona's 440 got shut down. Because Mona's slogan at the time was the place where girls will be boys. I love that. Anyway, so 44, she goes to Broadway and she tries to make a career on Broadway, doing like hoe ballads for white people in her tuxedo or whatever. But that wasn't hitting like it was because of the era of more conservative. And then by the McCarthy era, she was basically not making any money. So anyway, in 1950, she went to Los Angeles to take care of her mother. And that's when the HUAC, the House Un-American Activities Committee, started targeting her. And so they conducted basically a hunt for her. So that was when she completely sanitized her act, right? And then in 1952, she did a piece for Ebony. She did an autobiographical piece for Ebony, and it was called I Am a Woman Again. And this is when she, this is where a lot of the autobiographical information we got that was largely discredited, right? So she claims that she met this man and they got married and he made her realize that she could give up her sinful homosexual lifestyle. They contacted that man. He was like, I never married that dyke. Anyway, no. that she was saying are highly discredited. But in the article, like, she talks about taking hormones that made her no longer be attracted to women, and that she was, she'd gone through a lot of work to be saved, and she went through medical treatments, and now she don't like women, and she married some man, and then in the article, all the pictures of her are like her in like maid's garb, scrubbing the dishes and cleaning his drawers or whatever.
Like a good Christian
Like
woman.
a good Christian woman. And like she's, so she's, and this is the thing. Because some of that information is so heavily like discredited, people believe that it was just an attempt to get Joseph McCarthy off her fucking back, and to rebrand herself so that she could make money again, because it seems like she was struggling. But she also did join a church. I don't remember the name of the church. It's like something Life Church. She joined some church, and she was working to become an ordained minister, and it was during that time that her health started failing, and she passed away on January 18th, 1960, of possibly pneumonia, possibly some other type of infection, only a few weeks before she was supposed to be fully ordained. And so I wanted to do Gladys Bentley before, but I hesitated because of the end of her story, because her story ended when she goes back in the closet. And at the time I was like, oh, does that take away from her legacy as a queer icon? And I don't think it does. But I think we are entering sort of a new McCarthyism era. And I think we can judge her with those eyes, but like, let's remember that she was someone who was so out and proud for so long that and that it started to really negatively affect her. Yeah. And I don't think we've really seen the way that being queer can really like destroy your ability to make money or your ability to take care of yourself, and especially at that time. So yes, she went back in the closet, and yes, she, discovered the Lord, and then she passed away. But I don't think that should mar her memory. If anything, I think that should serve as a reminder of what our queer icons had to do, of why we don't have that much history, because we've always been here. We just have always had to hide. Yeah. We don't have to do that now. We should celebrate those who came before us, who sought safety, because that in and of itself, that journey in and of itself is a queer journey, and it is valid, and they deserve our respect and our love as icons.
That was beautifully said.
Thank you.
Yes.
So, the point is we have always been here, and we always will be. Yeah. And so they can do whatever they want to our history, but we should always celebrate.
Yes. And that's why we do our Black Queer History.
That's right. That's why we do Black Queer History.
Yes.
So that's Gladys Bentley.
I really love that. I'm glad you did that.
Yes, thank you. And I'm glad we did. Shout out to Gladys Bentley. Rest in peace and power to that big booty dyke. We really love. I'll always celebrate a big booty mask. Okay, every day. Anyway, if you have a queer Black history topic that you want us to cover or talk about it, please drop it in the comments, send us DMs. If you have a story about whatever, your bulldagger auntie that,
Absolutely. Let us know what they did.
We will talk about it.
I want to hear their story.
Yes. We need more of it, because this information will soon be illegal to teach.
Yes.
So... Anyway,
we need to do that. We need to have these conversations. Have these conversations with your gay uncles.
That's right.
Your gay aunties. Put it on it. Get a cassette tape, audio recording. That's what we need.
Tape. That's queer Black history. Okay, and like, subscribe, and check us out for more